can be heard because I'm trying out some new technology and it's possible you can't hear me at all, or it's possible you can hear me, but you're not hearing me in the way that I think you're hearing me. So let me know as you guys come in if I'm actually clear and you can hear me well. If you can't, then tell me that. Hi, Chakra King. Can you hear me okay? Like, is the sound okay, you guys? Oh, I'm clear? Okay, great. So, I wanted to kind of have a conversation with you guys. It's late night. I'm not going to make this conversation super long, but I was sitting here thinking of some conversations that I've been hearing kind of floating around these social media streets. And I've heard men say technically we don't need women, right? And I've heard women say technically we don't need men. And when people say this, they mean like even for reproduction, like we just don't need each other. We're reaching an age of technology where we have no use for each other. And I thought this was really interesting. So I want to talk about if that's true. And then I want to talk about if it even matters, right? Hi, Nia. So, first of all, what shall we talk about first? Who wants to be picked on first? Do the women want to be picked on first, or do the men want to be picked on first? Do we want to talk about if women need men first for like reproduction, or if men need women first for reproduction? Like, if all the men on the planet died, or if all the women on the planet died, could the human race keep going? Who shall we pick on first, men or women? Because we're going to pick on you both. Men or women? No, we're going to speak in specific terms, specifically for reproduction, to propagate the human race. So do we want to talk about, you want to say, okay, so Emmanuel said we want to pick on women first. Do you mean like you want to talk about if women need men first? Or if men need women first? Ladies first, women need men. Okay. So we're talking specifically about reproduction. We're going to talk science, right? Now, my ultimate point is going to be that none of this matters. But do women need men for reproduction? My answer is going to be triggering, but I guarantee you it's scientifically sound. No. Women do not need men to propagate the human race. Is that scary? Men, does that make you feel some kind of way? I'm going to explain my answer. And I'm saying something that's very factual. And once I explain why it's factual, you'll know that I'm not lying. Women do not need men to propagate the human race. Do you guys think I'm making that up, or do you already know where I'm going with this? No, we don't need a sperm bank. You don't need sperm to make babies. You don't need sperm. If you need sperm, then you need men. We don't need sperm to inseminate an egg. Women don't need that. Now, let me explain how you, yeah, we don't need male DNA though, the Galison. So we don't need sperm and we don't need male DNA. We just need DNA. That's how cloning technology works actually, right? When you clone an animal, you literally take the DNA from a living creature and you impregnate, right? Or inseminate an egg with it, right? It's about to become an interesting conversation. So, technically speaking, modern technology has made it that if every man on the planet died, women could carry on propagating the human race, and we would have enough genetic diversity to do so because we overwhelmingly outnumber men, right? And we also live longer than them. So any human DNA can be used to inseminate an egg. You don't need sperm for that. And you don't have to have a nation of clones either, because two women, technically, you can take the DNA from a woman's egg and the DNA from another woman, and you can create a distinct new human being, because all that you need to cause an egg to begin cell division is DNA. You do not need semen for that. You do not need sperm. You don't need men, right? Okay? So that's just scientific fact, right? That's scientific fact. Technically speaking, science has reached a point where in order to inseminate an egg, you only need DNA, and that DNA can come from a man or a woman. It does not have to be sperm, just the DNA. And you can get DNA from various parts of the body, so it doesn't have to be sperm. So, very literally, women are capable of propagating the human race at this time without men. Now, the next question is, can men propagate the human race without women? Right? The next question is, can men propagate the human race without women? Well, Joe Nice, don't freak out yet. Now, I'm not talking about my opinions. I'm just talking about where the science is, right? So we've heard a lot of men talking about soon we'll have artificial wombs. We know that the first animal has been birthed using an artificial uterus, using an artificial womb. Now, does the invention of artificial wombs make women obsolete? What do you guys think? Yes or no in the chat? Does the invention of artificial wombs make women obsolete? Yes or no? A tall hedge says no. Why not a tall hedge? The answer should be pretty obvious. Why would an artificial womb? Because then you don't need a woman to incubate the baby. So why would Chaos says yes. Nia says maybe yes. Okay, the question is how if you can incubate a baby without a woman, does that mean that men no longer need women? Warmaster said no. Eggs. Thank you, Alpha Omega. Alpha Omega is correct. You cannot, an artificial womb will never make women obsolete. There's something that women are born with that you can't reproduce, and those are eggs. Every woman is born with all the eggs she'll ever have in life. Even if you create artificial wombs and you don't need a woman to carry a baby, you will always need a population of fertile women to provide eggs. Because even if you freeze eggs, they don't last forever and they aren't very viable. That's why when people get artificial insemination with their kind of frozen stored eggs, they put several eggs in at once and they kind of hope that some of those eggs take. So technology is not in a place right now, even with artificial wombs, where women can be made obsolete because the egg is absolutely necessary. And the only way to get human eggs is from a fertile female, right? And you have to have a grown female at that because the eggs have to mature, right? That's something else about female eggs, right? They don't all mature at the same time. They slowly mature. So then you need a woman who's reached puberty to have eggs that are even viable for creating a child. So science, and I'm only talking the science, it's not my personal opinion. Right now, science has made men obsolete for reproduction, but science has not been able to make women obsolete for reproduction. So here's my question. Women, are we going to get together and kill all the men now? We don't need them. Like, technically, we don't need them anymore. Shall we just all get together and just kill them all? Huh? Shall we all just get together and kill all the men since Science literally has made it so that we absolutely can reproduce without them. Oh, we don't want to get rid of them yet, but we hate men, don't we? Don't can't we just don't stand them, right? We don't need them anymore. Science has made it. We do not need them. So how about we just get rid of them all? Are you guys down for that? Of course not, M said. Right. Right, but I want them exactly. So that's why I wanted to have this conversation because can we live without men? Technically, in 2021, we absolutely literally can. But who wants to do that? So then our beef with men has to end, right? Also, because let me tell you something, ladies. Now, I'm going to keep it real with you guys. Let's see if the ladies are going to keep it real, men. We have a lot of men here. Ladies, I want you guys to keep it real. Now, tell me if I'm lying about women. We unify the best when we have a common enemy, don't we? Because women really, we don't like each other half the time. But women seem to come together when they all have a common enemy. When we don't have a common enemy, we tend to fight amongst each other. Could you really live on a planet with just other females? I wouldn't want to do it. I just like I love y'all and I love being a woman, but I just could not do it. Like the balance of the thing would be totally off. Okay, Strawberry said I can survive without American men. I am legend. You may Nia said I am legend. You may stay. We're not going to get rid of you. I think this is groundbreaking. You guys realize that, right? Because it is refreshing. And men, I think this should encourage us all, both men and women. It is encouraging that literally science is in a place now where if women really hated men all like that, we don't need men anymore. But we do need men. They are our companions, right? They are what they say, the yin to our yang, right? They are our other half. So we do need them. And men, literally speaking, you guys have to get along with us too because you need our eggs. No, I'm kidding. But you do need our eggs though, seriously. But there are other things about us that are beneficial, right? Even when we get into conversations like about the sex dolls, you know, a lot of men are like, who are into those dolls that look like women. They're like, oh my gosh, artificial wombs and sex dolls are going to make women obsolete. No, they won't. First of all, you still need our eggs first. Second of all, a sex doll cannot do all the things Megan Thee Stallion was doing in that Body Yachty video. No, I'm kidding. But like, seriously, you can't get love and companionship and all of that, right? The type of affection you get from a woman, you're not going to get from a sex doll. And artificial wombs aren't going to get you a baby without the eggs, right? So all of these stupid conversations that I hear on YouTube about men, we don't need women anymore, and women don't need men anymore. Look, we need each other, okay? We need each other. And quite frankly, men, now you might want to behave because we're voluntarily keeping you around now that science can get us pregnant without you. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, men. I'm kidding. I'm just saying science has made it a possibility. So you know that us women love you. Also, because honestly, science has made it that we can get pregnant without them, but somebody's going to want a son one day. So we could never get rid of you guys because somebody's going to want a son one day. Dagata said, I want to see the science of genetic infusion of DNA. 2 women's eggs. No, it's not 2 women's eggs. Okay, so for example, this is how cloning works as well. You take a woman's egg and you insert the DNA from another human being inside of it. That's exactly how cloning works, right? Cloning doesn't work with sperm. You take a microneedle, right? A very, very tiny, tiny needle, and you literally insert DNA into the egg. And that causes the egg to divide and then create a new living being, right? So science is to the point where you can inseminate an egg with DNA. So you wouldn't take two women's eggs and smash them together. You would take one woman's egg and you would put DNA in the egg, right? That's how it would work. That's how the science works right now. So no, you wouldn't use two women's eggs. Joe Nice said, my question remains, who made that science possible? Men. Look, Joe Nice, look, I'm not saying who made the science possible, but I don't know what you guys were thinking. You know what I mean? Like if I was a man, I would have kept that secret. I surely wouldn't have let it get out that you guys didn't need us anymore for reproduction. I don't know what men were thinking when they did that. That was not a smart move, man. Like y'all are moving sloppy out here. You guys gotta, you can't be making yourselves obsolete. That's not gonna work. Now, lucky for you, women really, really, we love y'all. So even though you've created the science to make yourself obsolete, you can see in the chat that the women don't want you guys to go anywhere. So sperm has intelligence. How is this possible? What do you mean sperm has the intelligence? I mean, it is possible because scientists inseminate eggs with DNA all the time now. They've done it for years. They've been doing it for like the past 10 years. So it's very possible. Let's see. Cloning is misleading. Are you sure that wasn't to remove women in the long run? Mr. J. Tham said. Well, you have to figure out the egg situation, right? The egg situation when it comes to a woman is a much more complicated situation for science. You always need eggs, and you can only get eggs from a fertile woman, right? Yeah, sperm is somewhat intelligent. I mean, it doesn't have a brain, but yeah, it's somewhat intelligent. Yes, it does swim. Men, oh goodness, look at men. Men, there's a couple of men in the chat who don't get the point of this conversation. The point of the conversation is that we still need each other. That's the point of the conversation. The point of the conversation is that men and women do need each other. It doesn't matter where the science is. So men, don't get in your feelings about the science. I didn't come up with the technology, okay? I was just proving a point, is that when I asked the women, okay, so since we don't need them, do you guys want to get rid of all the men? All the women said, no, we don't want to get rid of them. I think one woman literally said, we want them. We want the men. we like you guys, right? We're out here beautifying ourselves and things try to get a man. So clearly we want you guys. And that's the point. You guys got to focus on the things that matter, which are the positive things, is that women want you. Okay. How do you know that sperm doesn't have a brain? Cells have intelligence also. Well, sperm doesn't have a brain in the way that you or I have a brain. So that was really the conversation that I wanted to have, right? Like we have these conversations about I don't need men or I don't need women. And so I just thought I would make the conversation very real. Like let's talk the science of if we need each other. And now that we understand that the science says that technically women can reproduce without men, but men cannot reproduce without women, well, where does that leave us? Right? Where does that leave us? That leaves us with women and men still agreeing that they want to be with each other anyway. And that's why I think we should get out of these fake conversations about how we don't want each other, because science has made it so we no longer have to deal with each other. So right now, the way we're moving, this is a choice. We're choosing to deal with each other. So as long as we're choosing to deal with each other, why don't we pretend to do something that resembles functionality? Do you know what I'm saying? David Johnson said, of course they want men because without men, they limit their accessories. Do you mean like earrings and bracelets and stuff? Is that what you mean? Pierre, Pierre said, I'm glad the sisterhood feels they still need us. Not just need, want. Some of them were like, we want you. Well, I think consciousness, the goddess, I think consciousness is your soul, not your brain. But sperm don't have souls, so we could also do that. Oh, David Johnson. Oh, the analogy. I didn't get the analogy actually the first time, but this is what I'll say. I don't think having sex with inanimate objects is very healthy. I wanted to do a panel, but honestly, y'all, I felt people were far too immature to have a conversation about sex toys because to me, and I know that a lot of you guys with sex toys are not going to like it when I say this, to me, it is very bizarre to have sex with an inanimate object. Like, why would you stick an inanimate object in you or put yourself inside of an inanimate object? That's very, very bizarre. That's bizarre behavior to me. But I know a lot of people do it, and I'm not coming for you, but I'm just saying, like, come on now, y'all, that's a little bit weird, don't you think? You don't think that that's like, you know what I'm saying? Thank you, I'm legend. I mean, am I the only one who thinks of it that way? I could be wrong. Like, I mean, I know I'm not wrong. I'm right. But I'm just saying I could be wrong in that other people share my opinion because that's like really bizarre behavior to me. So I don't understand it. Me personally, this is a good point, David Johnson. Yeah, thank you, the Galson. I think it's weird. I don't understand people having sex with inanimate objects. Like, as repulsive as women think like sex dolls are, aren't sex toys for women equally vulgar and disgusting? Like, I wouldn't want to just have sex with an inanimate object. I just don't want to do it. I don't know about just putting foreign objects inside of you or men sleeping with things that resemble vagina. Like, it's just all very weird and degenerate to me. I know a lot of people use these devices. I'm not coming for you. You don't have to out yourself in the chat. I'm just saying I personally don't understand it. We need to back away from the degeneracy, okay? Because you know it was a white dude that came up. I'm just saying, like, these Europeans come up with some stuff sometimes, and we get to embrace we get to embrace. The goddess, I agree. We need each other, period. It has been normalized. It's like when they put in songs like, what is that song? The little Asian chicks, like, you have to eat the booty like groceries. No, you don't. No, why would you put your mouth where somebody's feces comes out of? That's very nasty. There's a lot of real degenerate behavior going around. I don't understand it. Very Eurocentric. I agree. Strawberry said it's not benefiting Black women half the time to be super pro Black. Always be one at times. I'm lowering the bar. I'm done with America. I'm making a move. Where are you going to go, Strawberry? There's a lot of places. I mean, as Black people, we ought to travel more. Travel, go overseas. There's lots of people. It will go left. First of all, how do you kiss somebody after they do something nasty like that? Like, I wouldn't respect you anymore. I question anybody who wants anything too much to do with an anal cavity. It's like, it's an anus. There's nothing sexual about your anus. Trust and believe, especially not if you're regular. You know how some of these people, they poop like 1, 2 times a day, every single day. There's nothing sexy about that. Why would that be associated with sex? I don't understand that. A lot of degeneracy going around. Sex with inanimate objects, sex that includes anuses. I don't understand all that. Like, now you guys can call me a prude, but I'm not a prude. I just don't like nasty stuff. Like, I'm just saying that. Since when was what a requirement? Oh, are you quoting me? Did I say that? The tall head said, I've been done with America for over a decade. I want to live in East Asia. Interesting. At least when they're racist, they ignore you. Unless they're chopping your arms and legs off, they get live in East Asia. They literally take the land and chop off the legs and arms of their black skinned people in East Asia. Those people are cold blooded. You can't even drink out of the same cups. They make their kids sit in the back of the classroom and clean the porta potties. Like, I'm not making this up. You have to look into that. East Asia is not the business if you're dark skinned. John Boxing P4P said, facts, that's nasty. Yes, it is nasty. And I don't understand people that want to put their fingers back there and stuff. Look, I'm telling you, like, anus play is not the business, okay? Like, no anus play. That's not cool. You would never kiss them afterward. That would be the end of the relationship for me. I'd be like, relationship over. We're no longer in a relationship. I want a divorce. I want, I want, I don't, I don't even want to, I don't even want any of your poopy money. You keep your alimony. All that butt stuff. I know. But why do they keep putting it in songs like it makes sense? Like that little Asian chick, she was in a song with like Omarion and some other dude. And then I think Meg the Stallion talked about eating butt. And I'm just like, why do all these people keep bringing up eating booty? Like, nobody wants that. Ugh, that's nasty. Like, eating feces, that's where your feces comes out of. That's not right. And most people don't use a bidet. So you really aren't even washing right back there half the time. Y'all don't take soap and water to it, all to everybody like they need to. So it's good. Right. It's the exit, not an entrance. And you know what? Heterosexual men, I was literally just talking to somebody about this the other day. One of my patrons. We were on the phone talking, and I was like, look, heterosexual men, all the very straight men I know, do not have any interest in anal sex. They literally like, well, what do I need to do that for? No, they're good. They're good. But okay, men, don't get mad at me if you like anal sex, but I honestly think that men that like to backdoor are lightweight homosexual. Why would you want to put your penis where feces is? Like, what makes you want to cover your penis in feces? I just don't understand that. That is some nasty crap. That is some nasty, nasty stuff. Like, what is going on with the world, y'all? I don't understand. Like, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm, I'm like I said, I'm not a prude, but there's just some stuff that's a hard stop. Like, no, 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 no. It's a negative. We cannot be doing that around here. Ox Music said, I immediately questions a man's sexuality if he wants that. Me too, girl. I might offer it just so you could say yes so that I could get rid of you. I mean, like, hey, baby, would you like to put it in my ass? I might ask. I'll ask like I'm into it too, to like get you to let your guard down so you'll give me an honest answer. And then when you say yes, I'll be like, and that's the end of our relationship. We can't, no more relationship for you. That's we are no longer a couple. Okay. Like, that was a trick question. Like, I would act like you were good. I would act like it was gonna happen. and and then let you know it was never gonna happen. Now you're not even gonna get any vagina. Not only will you not get any booty, but you're not gonna get any of the proper hole either. I'm shutting it all down. Shutting it all the way down. Dustmaster Flex said that's illogical. They're doing it with the woman. Why? Okay, can I talk about something else too? Because Taz Exclusive brought this up, and I had thought about this too. And I know other men that think about this, but I want to talk about what Dustmaster Flex said. Do you think an anus is an anus? Like, if you're willing to get feces on your penis, you don't have standards, in my opinion. Like, you don't even have a standard for your own penis. Like, it's feces, y'all. It's feces. You know what feces is? No, that's a negative. Ugh. And then, I can only imagine what it smells like. Like, I can't even. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. The tall head said that's entrapment. I will entrap the hell out of somebody. I sure will. I need all the answers. I need to know. But so I'm going to ask you guys something else. Like, tell me it's not just me. So when it comes to pornography, I always wondered how, if you are straight and not gay, how is it that you see another man erect and aroused and you are not turned off? You feel what I'm saying? Like, if you're straight, then why would another man's erection and arousal not immediately turn you off? Like, if you can stay erect, watching another man be aroused and erect, to me, that means that you're lightweight gay. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there, y'all. I'm just tossing out ideas. I really feel this way. These are thoughts that I have. Like, these are judgments that I make in my personal life. I'm just keeping it real, y'all. Just saying. I'm just saying I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I've been waiting for a man to explain this to me, but I don't know any men that get down like that. So I may never find out. I may never know the answer. Right? Never. It'd be forever a mystery because I will never know. But I'm just saying, to me, that makes you lightweight gay. I'm just saying. That's why I never understood pornography. Like, even if you were going to watch porn, which I totally disagree with pornography, why would there be any men in the porn that you would watch? Like, if I were a guy and I were heterosexual, I would only look at porn that just had one woman in it. Like, I don't like why do you want to watch the porn with the other dude? Like, like how do you stay aroused when watching another man be aroused? Isn't that a turnoff when you're straight? Isn't another man's arousal a turnoff when you're straight? Now, all the straight guys I know don't watch pornography for that reason. All the heterosexual guys I know don't watch pornography for that reason. These are the things that go through my mind, y'all. I think about this. I really do. I really do. And I've heard women watch porn too, but that would be my same thing. Like, how do you stay aroused? I mean, women are very pretty and all that, but not sexually. So what is arousing about that, you know? Nia said a little softcore. I just don't like any kind of porn. I feel like if you want porn, you get yourself a husband or a wife and then you make some porn. You make your own porn. Be your own porn star with your husband or your wife. That's your best bet. And then you can watch yourself. You know what I'm saying? You could be your own movie star, okay? Taking things in visually is hard to get out the mind once you see it. That's facts. Yes. When you take something in visually, you can never erase that. And you know, the thing about visuals too is they're always popping up at weird times. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you see something, you won't even be thinking about it, and it will just, like, the vision of it will pop in your head. That's why some stuff is better just not to know about. Like, some things I'm like, I don't even want to see it because I don't want to be thinking and it just pop up in my mind one day, because it's very hard to erase a visual picture out of your mind. You guys know it's true. You know, you've had stuff pop into your mind out of nowhere and you're like, woo, where did that come from? Because you saw it one day. Rozzy, don't come in here. This is why I was scared to have this conversation. We've been doing so good. Why don't I discuss this on a live? You know what? Honestly, the reason is because I wanted to have like this conversation, but I'm afraid that some retarded person's going to ruin the whole conversation. Like, somebody's going to come up and say something retarded and then we're going to have to shut the whole thing down. Like I worry about people's immaturity. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we're all adults. I feel like we should be able to have a conversation about adult stuff, but then there's always that one or two or three people that just take stuff too far and just start being, like they're in high school. And so, in a way, I just didn't want to deal with that crap. I'm gonna keep it real. I just, in a way, I just didn't want to deal with that crap. I just did not want to do it. So, anyway, yeah, technically, I think they mean a live, like the type of the panel, because this is a live I'm doing, like live streaming off of YouTube. And so it's not something that other people can come up with. It's just like I'm the only person that can be up here. So, so it's a little bit different than that. But anyway, I just wanted to run that by you guys. Like, and I think I'm glad that we had the conversation. See, y'all thought it was going to be some beef. You thought it was going to be some drama up in here. But no, it was no drama. Okay. I just basically was saying that, you know, when we talk about if we need the opposite sex, I just wanted to bring it to a real place. And I hope outside of the little kind of the fact that we've determined, I'm so glad. I have to wait before I say this. Can I just say I am so glad I'm not the only person that thinks this way about all those sexual behaviors? Because I was like, is everybody just on some freaky deaky degenerate stuff and I'm like the last holdout who's not about this life? You know what I mean? But I'm so glad that you guys have healthy sexual attitudes too, because, all the stuff I mentioned, I was giving it the side eye like, I don't know about all this. I don't know. Next thing, people are going to be talking about some other stuff. I'm not going to get into it, but Um, but I don't know what a Zane novel is. I don't know what a Zane novel is. I deal with people, not fictional things when it comes to sex. I just deal with human beings, okay? If you're not a living, breathing person of the opposite sex, then, nothing computes for me. But anyway, I am glad that what we got out of this conversation is that we may not technically need each other anymore, but we still want each other. And it's a much more of a healthy place for us to start when it's not about I need you, but I want you. So we can kind of lessen the smoke for each other sometimes. Like we have so much smoke for each other. We're ready to torch down the man house or the woman house all the time. And it's just not necessary. Oh, wait, before I go, can I just tell you guys one more thing? So, like, I had somebody come to me earlier today, and he was basically talking about this is like totally unrelated to all the sex stuff and like the reproduction stuff and like all the stuff we were just talking about. This is like a whole new topic, but I just want to throw this out here for people who, I agree, a tall hedge. Sex is way too accessible these days. Um, well, they've, but so somebody came to me again. This is like a separate note, and then I'm going to go. And he basically was like the average black man basically is in a gang and gets, killed by other black men and stuff like that. And that's like the average life for black men. And this is a black man that said this to me, y'all. And I've known him for a couple of years off of these YouTube streets. And so I was so sad when he said that. And so what I told him is this, and I want to close this live out saying this for those people who have a low opinion of the black community like that. There are 50 million Black people in this country. Let me repeat that. There are 50 million Black people in this country. How many Black people do you think were arrested for murder? In 2020, 2019, 2020. How many people every year that are Black do you think are arrested for murder? Just throw out a number of them. Throw out a number. How many Black people? Think about what you think about Black violence. How many Black people do you think were arrested for murder because they killed somebody? R said 30K. Phobos said 5 million. Dagata said 1%. I'm about to tell you. Are you guys ready for this? As of the last complete uniform crime report, which is the government stats, a tall hedge said 5,000. It was 4,000 actually. I Am Legend said 300. I'm glad we had some low ones. It was about 4,000 people. Out of all the crimes that could be committed in a year, either 2019 or 2020, you guys can pick, how many Black people do you think were arrested for any manner of crime? Any manner of crime whatsoever. Property damage, rape, murder. How many Black people do you think were arrested out of that 50 million population for committing crimes? Throw a number out there. A tall head said 20 or 30K. Yeah, a tall head, that's not right. How many Black people do you think in total were arrested for any type of so-called crime? It's a little bit higher. It's definitely higher than 50,000. So for all types of crimes, less than 4% of the Black population was arrested. Now listen to me. Listen to me very closely. Listen to me very, very closely. That doesn't mean that they were guilty. So when we act like the Black community is just crime ridden and Black men are just walking out in the street and other Black men are shooting them and stuff like that, that's not even realistic. Almost none of our people commit crimes. And if the little boy, did you guys hear about that little 18-year-old boy who was just like walking home from work and he got arrested? There are a lot of our people that are just like that, who are just going to jail and they haven't even done anything wrong. So when we think like the Black community is so crime ridden and they're so terrible and stuff, it's like, no, we're not. That's such a small percent of the 50 million Black people in this country. I'm talking Black people, not mixed people, Black people. It's almost none of us. So we have such a low opinion of ourselves sometimes, like the levels of self-hate. And that's what I was telling him. I was like, you believe things that aren't even statistically true about your people. Sometimes we have such a low opinion about what we are. It's actually disturbing, right? Also, when we talk about gangs, what group of people do you think have the most gang members of their population? What people do you think, what race or what group of people do you think have the most gang members in their population? Asian, but Strawberry said tacos. I'm so done with you. Taco burritos. Girl, stop. I can't. I can't do it with you today. It's too late, Strawberry, for these emojis. Yes, the Taco Burrito Committee. White Hispanics. There's an organization that has been tracking gang numbers by race and population since 1996, right? And the white Hispanic population by far, even above Black people, it's a good difference there, has always had the most gang members in their population. Yet, we associate all these things with Black people. We act like Black men are just killing each other in the streets all the time. We act like Black people are just the total, they have all the gangs in the world. We act like Black people are committing all these crimes. Knowing that, number one, our people are targeted, do you understand how decent, overwhelmingly, and law abiding Black people have to be when we already know that our people are targeted, and yet less than 4% of us ever gets arrested in any given year? It's really more like, closer, like a little under 3.5%, but I'm just rounding up, right? And those are the real statistics on it. So sometimes we have such a low opinion of ourselves as Black people. We have such a low opinion of ourselves. Hey, information man. We have such a low opinion of ourselves. It's really sad. And that's why I said the biggest problem with Black people, number one, is y'all, we need to find God, but that is a whole nother conversation. But we have a lot of self-hate. Number one, we have self-hate. We hate ourselves. We have such a low opinion of each other. Black men have a low opinion of Black women. Black women have a low opinion of Black men. Black people have a low opinion of the Black community. We have a lot of self-hate. Number two, we lack introspection. It's amazing how much we hate ourselves, but at the same time, we don't think deeply enough about our community to correct anything. We're always critical, but we're not analytical for correction, right? Well, some Hispanics are Black, I am legend. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like there are Black Hispanics, but most of them are white or mestizo, which is just like a kind of slightly mixed white person. So number one, we have a lot of self-hate. Number two, we lack introspection. Number three, we are cowards. We are cowards. These are the three things that are really wrong with Black people. We have a lot of self-hate. We lack introspection, and we are cowards. If we could address those three issues, our community would propel forward and be able to compete, and nobody could stop us. Literally, they couldn't stop us. But the same man that I was talking to, and I'm fond of him, I like him. I've enjoyed his conversation for a couple of years. He has, disagreed with me, but supported me here on YouTube for a couple of years. And I told him it made me sad. Do you know what I mean? Because when men like him say that they don't want to push back against the system, I understand why they want to integrate. If you really have such a low opinion of your own people, even if that opinion is not true, then that explains why you don't want to compete, right? So we talked about a lot of things this live. We've talked about if women need men to reproduce, no. If men need women to reproduce, yes. We've talked about doesn't matter. We all agree it doesn't. We've talked about sex. We've talked about everything. But I wanted to end this live with just that. We need to have a higher opinion of each other. That doesn't mean that we're not critical. That doesn't mean we don't call each other out on our BS. That doesn't mean we need to kiss butt, literally or figuratively, right? It doesn't mean any of those things. But, well, Nia said if we're only looking at arrests, I don't think we're getting an accurate picture, though. But here's the thing. Anything else comes from your imagination because we don't know the things we don't know, right? We don't know the things we don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? So we can only speak to the things we know for a fact, right? So if you didn't take anything else from this live, it's that we can be real. We can keep it real with each other because we're not going to get our minds right if we're all sitting around here pretending nothing's wrong with each other. And we're not going to get our minds right if we keep pretending nothing's wrong with us personally, right? But we don't have to be at each other's throats for that. And really, that's kind of the moral of this live. Like, we can keep it real, but we can also recognize that we need to eventually come together in that realness. It can't be to divide us. That's what it can't be. As a diaspora, we just have to come together. But anyway, this conversation was all over the place, y'all, because we were talking about sex toys and porn. We were talking about artificial insemination. We were talking about, like, what kind of conversation are we having tonight? Okay? I blame myself. I have nobody to blame but me. I literally have nobody to blame but myself for this conversation because ain't nobody up here but me running my mouth and you guys encouraging me with your comments in the chat. So let me get out of here. Um, Remember, we have these conversations and you're like, what happened to the conversation, Irene? The conversation goes to my unlisted playlist. So if you mosey on over to my playlist, you may not find all the videos you missed because I don't put them all over there, but you will likely find some of the videos that you've missed. This video will definitely go over there. What I normally do when I do them late night like this is I leave them up overnight and then sometime tomorrow in the afternoon or something, I make them unlisted and then I send them over to one of my playlists. So that's just the FYI. Because I know some people think like I just pull videos. I don't pull them all like that. I just move them because when people first come to my page, there's certain things I want them to see when they first come here. And that stuff can get lost in all these kind of mini conversations that I have with you guys. So that's why I do that. Anyway, with that said, I will talk to you guys later. Have a nice evening. Enjoy your night. And I have another edited video coming for you guys. I have a couple, but they probably won't come out until this weekend because, you know, editing is a beast. So, bye, y'all.